particular red circle is spherical shell on which total charge Q, capital Q, is smeared. So it is spread uniformly on this, and the spread becomes uniform because they will fly away from each other and they will occupy the positions so that low potential energy is there. Okay, and then we want to apply Gauss law. The purpose is very simple. We want to determine electric field created by this particular spherical shell, charged spherical shell. Okay, so we are going for the first outside Gaussian surface. Now we have constructed Gaussian surface to be concentric shell, again concentric with our given physical shell, and its radius is small r, whereas the radius of the physical shell is a. So here in this case, this particular Gaussian surface which is outside, it encloses entire charge Q. So we can go for the flux that comes out of this particular Gaussian surface. So the formula for the flux is given by this particular expression, closed integral E bar dot dA bar. And if I apply Gauss law, it should be equal to Q over epsilon naught. So let us go ahead with this LHS part. Now here E bar, when we consider E bar, right, at any given point, let us say we consider this particular surface element dA bar, then in that case E bar at this particular point is identically same at each and every point on this particular surface Q. Okay, so we can take this E bar out of the integral sign. Okay, Aditya, I am audible?
Yes, sir.
Good. So close surface integral dA bar, that is giving us 4 pi r square. Now we are looking for the flux, electric flux that comes out of the Gaussian surface. Okay, so that is why this r comes into picture. So area of this particular Gaussian surface, which is nothing but concentric spherical shell, is equal to 4 pi r square. And then what is the charge enclosed is Q. So we can get electric field E bar is equal to Q over 4 pi epsilon naught r square. And since I want to identify direction of E bar, I mean electric field, so I am writing E bar, so I have to give it by radial direction r cap. Now when we have done this particular integration, you can see I have pulled out magnitude of E bar. So what happens to this dot product? Now you see it carefully. This direction of dA bar is along the radial direction, even E bar is along the radial direction. So both the directions, they align with each other. So theta is equal to 0. So in dot product we have cos theta. So cos 0 is 1. So what is left out are the magnitudes. So we can pull out magnitude of E bar out, and magnitude of dA is left inside, which we have calculated as 4 pi r square. Now here question comes, why E bar is always perpendicular to the surface? Is there any component of E bar along the surface? Right? There is a possibility of E bar along the surface, but as soon as E bar is along the surface, the charges will start moving according to the E bar, and they will settle down in such a way so that that E bar along the surface gets cancelled, because we are giving enough time for the charges to spread around. Charges are not hold constant at one single point. They are spread. This total charge Q is spread on entire this particular physical surface of spherical shape. So there is no possibility of E bar along the surface. Even if I take E bar along this particular what you call angle or direction, then there is a one component of the bar, this E bar, along the perpendicular direction, along the surface direction. Along the surface direction, as I said, they get eliminated. Along the perpendicular, this particular component gets survived. So only this particular component gets survived, all other components gets eliminated. Keep this mind in, right? This very important concept over here. Now we have three actually four types of geometries are involved in the numericals. One is the line geometry, second is the sphere geometry, third is the cylinder geometry, and fourth is the plane geometry. Okay, so now I'll go for another two geometries.